Welcome back to another Fabric Tip Friday. You're going to notice several of the Fabric Tip Fridays we do is going to be related to J3. I got a lot of guys covering J3s right now. So if you're not at this point, I'd recommend, if it's your first time, make little notes just in a notepad or something. You can go back to these videos, will help you. And the only reason I'm doing them is to save you time, or just the way I do it, or other people showed me how to do different things related basically to J3, but they'll go to other aircraft too naturally. One of the first things is when you were uncovering the plane and you were getting rid of that old nasty fabric and you never want to see that stuff again, you threw it away. Make sure that this little piece did not get thrown away with your fabric. I picked this project up, it had no covering on it, it was gone. What this little device is, it's just a way of a metal part to take the fabric down and keep it away from this. It's fine for the back one, but for up here, if you'll notice, you have an aileron pulley that's going to be hanging out in here. And to get to all of that, it needs to be kind of built down into this area. This is something you can build if you don't have one, or if your old one looks really bad, you can just flatten it out. Here's what happened. Next door at Central Arkansas, he's got a new guy that's learning a lot about fabric. He took the old one, flattened it out, made a template, made all the lines where they're going to fold and which way they're going to fold, and just put out, this comes from next door. I just borrowed it to show in this video. He did a real nice job. You know, everything's rounded. And they're doing a J3 next door also. So he just built up a new one because the other one looked like it'd been run over by a Mack truck. What I like about the situation is when he showed me this, I praised him on it. It all looked good, but lo and behold, sitting on the metal brake was this little piece of paper. I just walked up, took his piece of paper, and made mine. Saved myself a lot of time, and I kind of appreciate him for leaving that on there. I don't think he realized he did that, but that's something, once you make one, you can put it up somewhere or whatever, and that way if you don't have one to make the little template, you've got the template. You know, because everything folds down. It'd be just like making one. And it's a lot of times the way I'll remake something is just do it out of paper. Got all the cables pretty well in. I usually unscrew the turnbuckle, run it all the way back up in here so it's not bothering you. Last Fabric Tip Friday, we talked about the exit holes. That way you can cut the exit hole, run a long coat hanger in, get a hold to this and bring it out. It's out of the way. This particular plane is going to be clip wing, so I'm making this cable up because I don't know the distance. So instead of having a bunch of cable, a lot of times people take the extra cable and they'll want to wind it up and put it on the end, and it gets paint all over it and everything. So I just ran it back inside and put this little rubber piece of tape to loop it over, and that way it keeps it away from all of my fabric and rolling it and priming it and everything, and then I'll tape up all the ends and everything. And we'll talk about how I do the roots and everything on a J3. At this time, you'll want to go over everything and look for, you know, rough spots, kind of buff them down. This one's got a coat of epoxy on it. It's kind of an odd color, I think I've mentioned before, but even with the epoxy on it, I like to do a slight rough up. It just lets the glue get a good hold. We always like doing a double wrap on the leading edge. We'll talk about that, but this time is where I like to kind of rough stuff up. And don't forget your pitot, putting it in. All these little tips sound like they're just boring for you guys that's covered them and everything. Well, I'm in the mid 25 restorations, and I have forgot this before. You know, I think everything is done and forgot to put an pitot tube in or whatever. So I got Adel clamps and different setups here. I've tagged onto a bolt where it's all held in place where I want it to come out at. So that's one thing. Make sure everything's where you want it. And look, there's a standard as far as where inspection rings go as far as the old Piper drawings. There's no rule about that. What I like to do is just think of yourself having to work on this wing. Three inspection plates around here is just as good as one, and all you can do is look at your problem. You can't do nothing about it. Put you on whatever you want on your inspection rings. And you can always take a light and shine it through the fabric and see kind of what's going on. But right now is a good time to really just make a note. Like right here, if there was a problem with this, people will go, well, I want an inspection ring right here. Well, you gotta get to the nut. So a lot of times I may put it, it may be a hard situation, I may split it to where you can get something in both sides of that. Having one out here is not going to get this loose because you got to have the nut on one side or the other. So just think about that whenever you put something on. And this is just getting closer to ready to start covering the wing. Thank you.